We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. I'm Stephen Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, and this is the Land Academy Show.
Episode number 2127, believe it or not. And Jill and I are talking about navigating land market trends to stay ahead in 2025. Right before we turn the camera on, because I didn't choose this topic, our staff chooses them now, which is good. I said to Jill, I'm not exactly sure what new trends there are. And she said, are you kidding me? They're this, and this.
Thanks.
To which I said, I don't have to talk.
Oh, thanks.
All week this week, Jill and I are talking about staying ahead of the land market in 2025. Spot on for today's episode.
Yep.
Each day on the show, we answer a question from our Land Academy member Discord forum, take a deep dive into land-related topics by popular requests.
Yep. Wes wrote, before Land Academy, I was shoulder surfing info on how to wholesale homes. I decided I didn't like the risk and the business model, but I do recall some podcast discussions about how they did mailers. Lots of similarities with land investing. I can't recall who they used, but one podcast was about how they used a small Coke can as the envelope for an offer letter. What the heck? The 3D nature of this strategy was to deliver an almost 100% open rate. Does anyone have any experience with this or know of companies that allow 3D objects in the mail? I know it's not currently possible with offers to owners. I called to ask.
I bet
I would love to know how this phone call went. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not looking to send Coke cans, but cross-promote my other business and maximize my marketing spend. I wanted to experiment with some 3D objects. Any ideas on mailing companies to do this? Okay, I gotta ask a question. Is this about Wes's other company, or is it about doing it for land people? Because I know the land people. I don't know the other companies.
These other companies are ranching related.
Okay,
that's all I know.
So then
it could be feed. It could be
send a bale of hay.
Yeah.
Send hay and a lasso.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Or cow manure.
I want you to
That'll get their attention.
The answer to this question is I want you to think about this. What do you open and what don't you open?
Yeah.
And who do you take seriously and who don't you take seriously? I came up with what our envelope looks like, which is completely blank. It's completely blank. And it's for this reason, because I want a high open rate. If you don't know what it is, you're going to open it. To this day, I will open every letter that comes to us, or Joe or our staff will, if we don't know what it is. Mm-hmm. But if it says on the outside in big, bold, silly letters with some silly font that's with a yellow highlighter on it and an exclamation point at the end, offer for your land in Mojave County, Arizona, I will put it in the shredder. I do not care.
Or something cheesy.
I've received
pretend fonts, pretend yellow letters.
All of us have received all this stuff over the years. Even if it's not, even if you're new, you've received stuff in the mail. It's like, this is a gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't believe in gimmicks, and so I'm not going to partake in it. Plus, when you price doing this kind of thing, you'll never consider doing it ever again.
True.
You're going to need 10,000 Coke cans.
Yeah. Boy, I can't even imagine, how much that would cost.
I can't either.
Holy cow. That would cost a lot of money to send out something like that. And the bottom line is, it just sends the wrong message. When I'm very comfortable with a full color pizza coupon. I know what it is. That's kind of how they roll. And I could tear off the little thing. I know I don't need to tear it off and bring it in, but I do sometimes. I could. People are used to that. And then, what we do, a professional letter, the guy that makes so much sense. But when you get gimmicky and weird, you put $1 in there, you put lipstick on it. I don't know. Silly stuff like that. My favorite is pretending it's handwritten when we all know it's not.
Yeah.
That to me really sends the wrong message. If I get anything that I can tell it's pretend handwritten, then I really do immediately shred it.
My final point is this. I never want to take away your creativity, and thinking about and bringing these things up is that's part of what Land Academy is. So we can all grow together. But there's a point where you can kind of accept, especially if you're new, the millions of mistakes that I've made. I've tried all this stuff. And the fact is, it's just blank. And you're going to get a very positive response rate on that. Can you measure it? No, you can't. But you can measure how many deals you do. And you can measure how cheap it is. There's nothing cheaper than this except postcards, and postcards don't work. Our offers to owners came to me recently. I don't know how this ended. And they said, there's so many people asking for postcards. And when our staff comes to us and says, there's this huge trend, this is what's going on, it's because all the other schmoes out there that think that they can buy and sell land that have a Land Academy-like company and with no experience start spouting some stuff off. And, postcards don't work. They don't. I shred a postcard. Is it cheap? Yeah. Are you going to get a deal? I doubt it. So keep the creativity flowing and really think to yourself what type of real estate. I can't imagine sending a Coke can to a rancher. There's nobody more not a personality tap out there that isn't more direct than a rancher. And I'm not going to sure they're going to appreciate that.
The only thing I can think of makes sense if you send tennis balls to a tennis player, golf balls to a golf player. But again, how much does all that cost?
I still think it's like, these aren't the golf balls I want. This isn't my brand.
I know.
Here's an exception. Jill found a block in a small town where she wants to buy a house as a rental property because she thinks it's cute and it's going to double in price over the next 5 years. All right. Then I would put something maybe that says outside of the envelope that says we want to buy your house and we live down the street. We lived down the street. We want to buy another house for an investment. But would you still put it on the outside and just leave it on the inside and write that? That's what I just want to be careful. In the end, we probably just send a blank envelope. I just don't want to sound like an old man and take a creativity. I got to say, though, truth time, in the recent one that we did that was just like that, don't worry about it. The response rate was overwhelming. We have a response rate on an 8,000 unit mailer that I have never seen. Holy cow. I have never seen a response rate like this. Yeah. I every day I have it's more than 20 calls a day. And so it's probably add them all up. We're a week in on this one right now. I'm probably averaging 40 responses a day. Between email, calls, maybe more, between 40 and 50 a day of emails, calls, text messages, you name it. It's nuts. It's profitable. It's good. She's a little burned out, I have to tell you. I kind of am. There's a few times where she's come to me and said, I'm not sure I approve this. I did not approve that, by the way. That's a whole nother show. That's back to the, when your partner throws you to the wolves show. All right, let's get today. Today's topic, navigating land market trends to stay ahead in 2025. This is the meat of the show, like Jack used to say. So we were thinking about it. He's like, what, Jill, what do you think? I'm like, well, shucks. There are two glaringly obvious trends that if you don't do these, and you don't pay attention to this, and you're not open to it, you will not survive. And they are these. One is you've got to constantly be moving to different markets where it makes sense. For example, we all know Nashville was a big deal, right? Out of COVID, there was a whole Nashville thing. It's so cute. It's loving. Even HGTV pivoted and started doing Nashville country out there renovation shows because it was hot. Well, guess what? It's still warm. It's not cold, but it's not hot like it was. You have to always stay ahead of these markets. And this is why Jack is so good at what he does. This man spends probably an average of, I'm going to say 1 to 2 hours a day. It's unhealthy. Trolling areas in the country, looking for where people are going and what they're pivoting to. Perfect example. We all know people are leaving Southern California. They have to. There are a lot of people, we all know what happened with the fires, that they're looking for places to go and where they're going to move, and they got to get their kids in school. So you better believe he's going to be ahead of all the stuff because he micromanages that. He's watching. He has a laundry list of markets that he's watching, days on market and trends and where the buyers are coming from. You're going to be ahead of CoreLogic and ahead of data tree reporting and realtor and all that. Because that's just who he is. He sees it coming before that. Watch what's changed. Watch it. I don't want to interrupt you, because I know you have a list, but watch what is pending. If this month there's a 13% of the market in some zip code is pending. And next month, based on what, and you can identify why, it's 18%, then it goes to 40%, then it goes to 19%. That's a lot of pending property for some reason, and you need to get involved in that market.
Mm-hmm. So that's a trend. You need to watch where people are going. So a trend could be areas. The second thing I want to talk to you about that is so important. If you don't do this, it could sink your ship. You have to be open to other property types and not just, hey, I only do rural vacant land. Now I'll do commercial because that's something. Now maybe I'll look at ag. That could be something, but also really being open to, this one had a barn on it. This one had a fallen down mobile on it. This one has a house on it. So open to what you have to be buying and selling what people want. That's it. And again, this is why I, as much as I love him, I don't always get his full attention because he has his head in his phone and he's not surfing social media. No, he's looking for what do they want right now? Where do they want it? What do they want? What are they spending? Where do we need to be sending mail to stay just ahead of it or catch it on the upswing?
Some of the parts of the country right now are frozen. So if somebody lists a property that's in my opinion, undervalued in January or February, which is the bottom of the seasonality in the market, in a place that's usually not frozen, that has a real, like a summertime that is touristy, they need to sell a property. Mm-hmm. They need to, and very often, and we've done this with success recently, we call the real estate agent and say, here's our offer on the property, and it gets accepted. And so that is a way, another creative way to buy property in the off season. Now, if you want to, and I don't care if it's a house or a mobile home or a piece of land, you're not thinking about price if you list it in January.
True.
In one of those markets. The exact opposite in areas, places like Arizona and Florida this is our tourist season. So you don't want to horse around in markets like that very much.
True.
Trends.
That's it. Trends. I was just talking to somebody too. We did a coaching call. We can end on this. I had a coaching call with a guy this week and we were talking about an area that's cold and frozen right now. I said, look, if you really want to hit it home, go back. You know where you got that data. When you did the red, yellow, green test, you only did 1 month. You're only looking at a snapshot because as we're recording this, it's the end of January. So he's looking at the December snapshot of the data. I said, go back and look because some of these zip codes, you can get 36 months back. Go look at the trend because what often happens in an area like this, if you really want to feel good, is that you buy now because the days on market are good, but not great. But holy cow, look what happens May, June, July with the days on market. They go down. I said, you could be in a situation where you're going to come up for air in June and wish you had 10 more properties. He's like, oh, I see. I get it. So that's what you need to think about
almost
too.
Always like that in the springtime.
Yeah.
Well, I wish we had 10 of those.
Mm-hmm. Like, wow, that went fast. There you go.
Here's another trend. I don't know if you're done. Are you done?
Yeah.
It's imperative for you to expand your product type if you're already in this. If you're very new to Land Academy, just stick to land for a year or so. Get your feet wet, do a few deals, and see if you were into it. And it's something you want to do as a career. If you're already into it and you're just joining Land Academy because you've been a successful real estate agent for years and you're ready for a change, or a successful business owner, I would very heavily consider, if I were you, by sending mailers out to mobile homes and to small rural houses. Mm-hmm. They're not getting any mail, and they are just as needy of a letter to exit their property as everybody else. Mm-hmm. And not just rural markets, but everywhere. Find your little niche. Some people we just got done with a career path. Some people love urban properties that are undervalued, that are absolute disasters. They can renovate them. Some people like big, large pieces of property that are outside places like Jackson Hole. That are real expensive. So they can mark up $100,000. Find your little niche and apply some of these logical, common sense type trends. You're going to do great.
Well, wait, Jack, how do I price those? Check out houseacademy.com. Seriously. Yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah, there's Jill and I own houseacademy.com. We don't talk about it often.
It's a little bit different.
It's a bunch of members and it's very effective.
Yep.
We buy and sell houses all the time, Jill and I do.
Exactly.
Join us tomorrow where we discuss why the number of blind offers you send directly ties to your success. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
We are Jack and Jill.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.
We hope you found our content valuable and we appreciate your support. If you have not already, please check out our channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the content you're here for. Hitting the like button helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest for future shows.